All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus. In this episode, we're going to dive in to the thought of Jayden Daniels actually falling to pick 11. We're going to give 3 scenarios on how that could happen.
If you want to be a scenario, how to be a winner in life, subscribe to the Onebar and Lupagus show right now. Hit the button. Boom. We are on our way to 12K before draft day.
On our way to 12K. Jayden Daniels, the thought of him falling to 11, that might be a little out there, but you know what? Crazier things have happened. A lot of those mock draft generators, whatever you think about those, a lot of times he's just there. And you know what? We usually just restart it. That's how much we don't think it's going to happen. But there is a path.
Well, and I think the chance of this happening is probably less than 1%, but it's the NFL draft. Crazy shit has happened, and it happens every year. So we'll walk through these scenarios and see how he makes it to 11.
You might say that it's less than 1%. But let's start off with scenario 3. And you know what? Scenario 3, look at last year. No way in hell Will Levis is going to be there with the Vikings pick. No way in hell. Less than 1%. I bet you'd say the same thing. And that this time round 2.
Last February. Yeah, it was probably the same. So yeah, you're right.
It was.
Comparison. I was kind of hoping you were going to name these scenarios like American Psycho named it as hookers.
No, I didn't. They're just scenario 1, 2, 3. You know what? I'll save that one for last. Let's just go to scenario 1, and that's the Patriots drafting Marvin Harrison Jr. at 3, and the Falcons trading for Justin Fields. Very possible scenarios here.
And you got to assume too the Giants aren't going to jump and get a new quarterback either. So that would be the other thing that would have to happen. The Patriots go Marvin Harrison Jr. and then the Falcons dish. So that means the Bears are going with Caleb Williams at 1, maybe 2.
You look at all these other teams up there. Giants aren't taking a quarterback. There's so many teams that need offensive tackles in this top, and the wide receivers are going to be thick. There could be 3 wide receivers gone. And Marvin Harrison to the Patriots, if that were to happen, we can always say, other teams might trade up. But we're not putting that into this scenario. But those 2 things happen.
Good chance. There's a good chance. There's a shot.
Let's go to scenario 2. Fairly similar, but Patriots trade out of 3 for a team that wants Marvin Harrison Jr. or an offensive tackle, and the Falcons sign Kirk Cousins. A lot of this has to do with the Falcons, because if the Falcons don't get a quarterback and he's there at 8, they're obviously taking him.
But you also got to assume, the New York Jets are up there too. They could use a quarterback. So I don't think the Falcons are the only team that's going to be in the hunt for a quarterback. But yes, if this happened, and again, this all seems to have the same kind of Harrison Jr. gets into those top 3 picks, the dominoes could fall the right way for the Vikings.
They could fall. I really don't think the Jets are I just think there's no way in hell they're taking a quarterback.
I don't know, man. You got to have a quarterback in this league to succeed, and I don't think either one has one right now. Aaron Rodgers come back 1 year. They need someone behind him to learn, and I could definitely see them pulling the trigger on a quarterback.
I could see him. With Aaron Rodgers only coming 1 year, I want to get anything around this guy as possible. This is their chance. This is their moment. But yeah, the thing with the Falcons, they're heavily linked to Kirk Cousins. They're heavily linked now to trading for Justin Fields. So if that actually happens before the draft, I'm going to get way too excited.
I think the Raiders, too, are on our team.
Scenario 3, teams don't want them.
Yeah, and to me, this is the most likely. Something happens between now and the draft. I know right now his biggest concern seems to be his size, but what if he throws poorly at the or if he goes to combine, throws poorly, interviews poorly, or has a horrible pro day, or he gets hurt somewhere in the process. Maybe something like that happens where his stock starts to go down because a concern arises between now and April.
Yeah, he might just not fit their scheme. He's a pretty special quarterback. He's not really, when you look at it, his big knocks are he can't sit in the pocket and make a good throw. There's a lot of teams that might just not want that. His size, the thought of him just getting injured. And then, Will Levis, going back to that example, it was a sure thing top 5 pick. Teams are going to be trading up for this guy. That's how much at this time last year, even right up to the draft, it was such a gimme that this guy was going to be a top 5 pick. And it didn't happen. And everyone the whole time, oh my God. So why couldn't it happen with Jayden Daniels?
It could happen. So again, I think the most likely thing though is that something happens with him or some red flags arise. Will Levis, it was the character thing, the weird, just how odd that dude was, putting mayo in his coffee and other weird shit that was coming out of him that kind of hurt his draft stock, along with
did that really hurt his draft stock?
I don't know. I think it did. Some things who the hell is this dude? Weird dude.
Yeah, but he was like, I mean, he was like the safe pick. He was the pocket passer, big. I mean, he was the guy that, was NFL ready day one. And Jayden Daniels, easy. I just want him.
I
I
don't
want
know.
him to fall to 11.
I want it
It's
so
so
bad.
damn bad. It starts with the Falcons. It starts with the Patriots.
Could you
Something's got to
imagine
happen
though
there.
if he made it to 10 and we're just all just chomping at the bit, and all of a sudden the helmet changes to some fucking team that needs a quarterback?
Broncos. Also, the Broncos helmet changes.
Oh.
That would be brutal. But Marvin Harrison Jr., I mean, man, the dude, I mean, when you're comparing him to Calvin Johnson and these other teams, like somebody's going to want to trade up from some of these other teams who need an offensive tackle, want to get their first tackle. They don't want to wait for the leftovers.
Good movie.
Very underrated HBO show.
Yeah. So let us know in the comments. Do you think Jayden Daniels will fall to pick 11, or any of these scenarios, 1, 2, or 3, likely to happen? Let us know what you think. And remember this: the brain gets in good shape by memorizing a song.